Shout has given older people across Bridgend County the opportunity to have their voice heard through involvement in the Community Voice project. Many of the members were quite lonely and isolated when they first came to Shout, and as the weeks and months have gone on, we've seen them increase in confidence and they're willing now to participate. They're giving their opinion, they're speaking with service providers who come to our talks, and then speaking up for themselves and as well for others. That the traditional methods of engagement weren't going to work in this instance. People would come for a coffee morning, or they might come for some healthy ageing activity, whereas they wouldn't necessarily come if it was a consultation on development of traffic changes in the county. So by coming into Shout for healthy ageing, for chair-based exercises or Tai Chi, they then would stay and become involved in the consultation side of things. Well, what's great is that Shout is in a far stronger position now as an organisation. The board is re-energised and has been reinforced. Membership is far greater than it was at the start of the project, and the board and members are committed to taking the legacy of the work that we've done through Community Voice, taking that forward and growing the organisation and consulting with a lot more older people across the county. The other great thing is that BCBC do consider Shout to be a partner of theirs, and that's a fantastic outcome considering where we were at the start of the project.
It certainly helped in consultation with BCBC and in the planning department, because we have had a voice in those meetings.
That started the ball rolling, and then we got involved in more consultations and more workshops and things like that, and it brought people in, and we ended up within about a year, I think we'd more than doubled our membership, which was not bad for the first year.
We've been supporting people who self-harm and anyone affected by self-harm to gain confidence and engage in community events and consultations. We've been involved in a lot of consultations in the early parts of the project. One of our main things was the Welsh Government's Talk to Me Too strategy, which came out in 2015. We were very vocal about the action plan. We started off trying to research how the impact of self-harm was in Bridgend and who was self-harming, what demographic. What we found though, that when we set up our first group, people weren't there to talk about research, they needed support, and there was no support available. And that's when we realised that we're not going to be able to get any information to build the research without helping people first. And luckily, as we work for a mental health charity, we're able to set up peer support groups and have pathways to counselling to help people build their confidence and in turn help us to research self-harm in Bridgend.
We all help each other, and if one of us is down, we're there to comfort you and answer. It's really good. Because when I first started coming here, I didn't say much, like, you know, just sat there and kept passing all the time. But over the time, I started coming out of my shell a bit, like. So, we've started now, if you're feeling down, you can phone one of the people, like, and they support you, and, like, you know, so it's really good.
Well, I think that confidence has been raised. We've had a few people go on to volunteer and to find work. The project now has been renamed SHARE, which stands for Self-Harm Awareness, Recovery and Education. We hope to continue that well beyond 2018. A lot of people, when they first come to the group, feel like they're the only ones who self-harm. And when they're all sitting around talking, although their backgrounds and their reasons for self-harming are completely different, they can all share that common experience and support each other to get through it.
So when the project started, there wasn't any real support for young adult carers from the age of 18 plus. There were maybe 2 identified young adult carers in Bridgend, so there wasn't really any support for them at all. Yeah, so we worked with young adult carers to build their confidence, get them to know what their rights are, supporting them in engaging with professionals and organisations within the community and trying to get services in Bridgend changed to support the needs. I think the young adult carers I've worked with have developed a lot of skills for themselves, so they've developed confidence, they've developed a knowledge of their rights, they've got information on what services around there that can support them, how to engage and consult with other services in order to have a voice and speak about their rights. But also we worked with Bridgend College and asked them to add the question, are you a young carer, onto their application form, so that if a young carer was to go to college, the support is in there for them before they even start. We've also developed a young carer's ID card, so when young carers are in schools, they're able to use that ID card to get teachers and other professionals within the school to understand what they're going through and get the support in school as well. It's having a really good understanding of their needs, but also having an understanding of their needs as young carers, but also young people in general. For my young carers, initially, trying to work with them on consultation and engagement, it was a little bit scary for them. So it was all about taking some time to train them and give them the skills they needed to consult with other professionals. But also I think incentives and rewards was a massive part of it, giving them something back for taking part in consultations and giving us their time. It was then giving them a reward, and I found that encouraged them to take part then. A lot of the time within the consultations we did with the young adult carers, they were saying that the main thing that they need is more support in schools. So we've just started a new project, again Bridgend Carer Centre in Action for Children, and it's called the Young Carers in Schools project. So we are working with young carers of any age across Bridgend and supporting them in schools, and that could be training staff, doing assemblies, PSE lessons and one-to-one and group support as well. In addition to that, there's the Roots project, which works with young adult carers aged 14 to 25 and giving them the support they need for education and employment.
Well, ABFAB is a brighter future altogether benefiting Bridgend, and the project helps people in the community with LGBT issues.
So this started off promoting on the Facebook page, setting up their own web page, and then they went further afield and went into GP surgeries, went through CAMS, Mental Health Matters, and we had referrals from those organisations to set up their own steer groups, peer groups, one-to-one support, training opportunities delivered to the community as well as in schools and through the council as well. They've had voice on consultations, they've been part of different organisations to promote the well-being of LGBT members in the community. I think working closely with the schools and making the schools more aware of the issues that they face on a day-to-day basis and making them more understanding and their home life more understanding. Their confidence is definitely improved greatly, and they've gone on to bigger and better things. They've had more work opportunities or training opportunities they've taken up. And yeah, be wanting to take on a charity, for example, you know, that's a big step. So hopefully they'll get there with the support from BAVO and many others. So yeah, fingers crossed.
There's a new peer group that's starting, and they'll take over from the ABFAB project. They're going to call themselves Legacy, and they'll be offering one-to-one support to their members from next January.
We were selected as one of the partner providers for the Community Voice project, and our activity was based around providing accessible information, so turning written text into an accessible format, and also producing DVDs and videos for various organisations who needed to get a specific message across.
We made a series of videos for the police around antisocial behaviour, hate crime, mate crime, and how it affected this charity specifically in the members who have learning difficulties. We've also done a video with the local health board on antibiotic resistance and animation, which was fantastic fun to do and really got that difficult to explain point across very easily. The people I've worked with have gained an awful lot of confidence in creating these media projects. The people have gained an awful lot of skills in filmmaking, photography, scripting, recording voiceovers, and also attending meetings with the health board and contributing ideas to those kind of meetings. So the confidence has raised immensely over that time.
And probably the best thing we could pass on to other organisations is the skills that the youngsters have developed through doing this project, but also they owned the project, so they were making the decisions on the type of filming that they would be doing and the activities, and also the organisations that they wanted to get involved with and provide the information to. Other organisations could see the benefit to them, so we saw it as a potential opportunity to develop a social enterprise out of that particular project, whereby we could produce that type of information and as a social enterprise generating more money than for the charity.
Well, when we applied for the Community Voice, it was all about sharing ideas and planning together, and I think over the last 4 years that's what our group has done. We've met up on a regular basis, spoken about what the members want, what they want to see more of in Bridgend, how they felt discriminated against over the years, and taken action to make things happen or to change. And I think our members have communicated well with local councillors, with Bridgend County Borough Council, and there's been lots of different events that the members have had ideas about, raising awareness on transport issues, the Social Service and Wellbeing Act, mental health, disability, hate crime, almost every issue that you could possibly think of around disability. I think our members have spoken up about and have spoken about at meetings. But potentially I think that our group has given members more confidence. We've learnt a lot through engaging. First of all, I think not be too belligerent. Just give people the facts. Just tell people exactly how it is, exactly what we want as disabled people, and tell people just straight what they're doing wrong. Like to the post office, when we wanted the post office, we're going to move to another venue we didn't think was accessible. But the way we engaged with them was very good, and it stopped that from happening. We engaged well with the council to stop them charging blue badge users to park in car parks in the town.
The council were on about charging blue badge holders to park. As people with a disability couldn't afford the prices that are being charged because of the benefits that they're receiving. They weren't getting enough to afford to pay for it. We done like a sort of protest signature document paper with signatures and sent it to the council.
Being part of the organisation has enabled us to do numerous events, things like transportation, welfare reform, mental health even. If we hadn't had that funding, I don't think those projects would have gone ahead.
But even over the last 4 years, if you've just made one person's life better, I think we've been successful. And I do honestly believe that we've made a lot of people's lives better, and not just the people who come to the meetings, but disabled people out there that maybe haven't got involved, but have benefited from the improvements that our group has helped put in place.